All right, here we go. Hey, how's everybody doing? This is a Red Robe, obviously, from Red Robe Gaming. I'm here with a rambling rant about none other than, well, Destiny. As you all may know, recently there was a lot of announcements regarding Destiny, the new expansion, with quote marks there, in the House of Wolves, and some of what's coming in it. Well, I'm here to hopefully go through that piecemeal, give you some optimistic, pessimistic of what hopefully and not hopefully these things will be and how they'll be implemented and whatnot. But here, let's get something on here besides this. How about take a look at some beta build footage, because you know how much this game has changed since the beta build. Why don't you take a look? So anyway, moving on. First off, let's start with the no raid thing. All right. First, I'll admit I was, kind of what? We were promised a raid. We were supposed to get a raid. All that kind of stuff. Excuse me. And well, all right, fine. I get it. You see, there's bugs, there's problems with the raids, there's exploits with the raids. Fine. So they want to make sure they fine-tune it as best they can and all that other type of stuff. Release it later, and people can play it then. Fine. Obviously, once it's out in the wild, people are still going to find bugs, still going to find exploits and stuff. But here's the thing. You see, as you're watching now, the game had a beta build. Why not beta test the raid? I know, crazy idea. But instead of giving it to everybody, I'm not a developer at Bungie / Activision, but how about you give it the raid access, beta access to the raid, to like the people that bought that expensive Ghost thing or bought the really expensive digital version, like me, and they could take others, like their friends and whatnot, along with them, whether they bought that stuff or not, considering some of them maybe they didn't, you never know, and let them beta test the raid, play it, watch, see what happens, but instead of, say, giving out the actual loot you would get in the raid, just give out the generic stuff you already need for, say, upgrades and stuff like shards and all other kind of crap. I think that'd be perfect, because you're playing the raid, you're testing it out, you're still getting Glimmer or the mats that you need. And hopefully when it's finally released for everybody, they can fix all the bugs and everything. And then when it's finally released, you go in there with your same friends, and with the things that have changed, you can actually start earning the loot that hopefully by the time it's actually released, you have heard about. And speaking of things that you've heard about, since I waited and calm down instead of creating a knee-jerk reaction video, like maybe or maybe you're not, you have read about Destiny. Is the House of Wolves a house of fail? Well, hopefully not, because I know one of the first things you possibly read in, whether it was something on Reddit or whatever, but mainly on the Bungie site when they posted that gearing up thing, one of the first things you read is and saw was this. And if you don't know what that is, that's the Fate Bringer. And in the little upgrade thing that it has, they will be having a live discussion about the upgrade paths for your gear. along with a walking tour of the reef, which is a new little place, kind of like the tower, but in the reef. But, yeah, all that's fine. But here's the thing. This is going to be on Twitch. And the point is a live discussion about the upgrade paths for your gear. Now, if you remember when all the Crota stuff came along and the exotics and all that kind of crap happened, it was and is still crap. It sucks. You got to pay. If you already have an exotic, to upgrade that exotic, you need a butt ton of glimmer and an exotic shard, and of course to have the weapon, which is fine. But what if you're one of those people that, you know, has a lot of exotic weapons because you were fortunate, you were lucky, you played a lot, so now it's forcing you to play a lot more, which, you know, it's like, no, I don't want to play a lot more of other stuff. I want to do what I want to do, blah, blah, blah. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Okay, as you're seeing with the thing here, in the Fatebringer, basically the Fatebringer isn't an exotic weapon. It's a legendary weapon. Because one of the things people have been talking about is upgrading your legendary weapons that have stuff like Fatebringer and has a little elemental thing to go along with it, which would be great to bring it up to speed with everything else. Now, they'll be discussing the upgrade paths. Now, hopefully, and I mean hopefully, whatever they discuss and reveal for the upgrade paths, to be optimistic, look at that, the optimistic, is that it is no way whatsoever like what you have to go through with exotics. Because if you think about it, and you reason and all that kind of stuff, exotic weapons and exotic armor are supposed to be the best armor and weapons in the game. So if you already have it, to upgrade it, making it hard and a big deal is understandable. But let's say you already done that. But say you have something like the Fatebringer, or what's another one? It's a ray gun. Not a Vision of Confluence. That's what it's called. I got one of them. And you know, you want to use that for stuff, you know, other than just in the Vault of Glass raid, because of what it does and how powerful it is, and it has that fire thing on there, or solar, sorry, not fire. The optimistic thing they'll do is they'll just upgrade the numbers on the weapons. It's the damage and stuff. Just make it easy. You pop in, you do something, you log in with your weapons, and it's upgraded. Maybe you have to level it up once more or something, at most, you know, to get that extra damage or whatever. That's optimistic. Now, looking at the other side, the pessimistic thing, basing on what they've already done with the exotics. Oh dear, what they could probably ask you to do is probably, you might have to go back to Xur, or maybe even not Xur, maybe a Vanguard guy, and you'd need a lot of glimmer. You'd need the weapon, obviously, but also, instead of, you know, like exotic shards, maybe you need those ascendant materials. You need the ascendant energies or shards to earn the upgrade, which probably maybe at this point for a lot of people, if you've played continuously, you probably have a lot of them sitting around, so maybe it won't be that big of a deal. But still, if, say, you have a lot of them, you know, for different characters or however you're running, it's too similar and too frustrating to do that all over again for legendary weapons. You know, I hope they don't do that, but odds are they probably will, unfortunately. And of course, that wasn't all that they talked about. If you kept reading the Destiny thing on Bungie.net, the next thing you heard about was something called the what is it? Not temple, sorry, the Trials of Osiris, and you saw this right here. This, which obviously is gear. It's vaguely, Egyptian, considering the. Is that the war? Yeah, it looks like the warlock, and it's gold tinted. Now, if you don't know anything about the lore, what there is of lore in Destiny, Osiris was a warlock, and he learned a bunch of stuff, and he was really smart, and he's even mentioned once or twice in the story. So he was a big deal. And these are called the Trials of Osiris. And basically what you do is you do these Trials of Osiris, and you get this gear. Now, obviously we don't know what this gear is, whether it's legendary, exotic, but I mean, if it's exotic and they're all wearing that gear in the picture, I don't know. I mean, well, maybe they're doing it just for whatever purposes. But anywho, instead of contemplating about the armor and whatnot, how about we contemplate good, bad, and whatnot about what exactly the Trials of Osiris might be. Now, starting with the pessimistic thing, when I hear something like Trials of Osiris, I think of something like a mission. Kind of how you have on the main screen, you have those little like daily mission, weekly nightfall, that type of stuff. I think you have something like that. And that's probably what it'll be. And it'll be pretty much the same thing, maybe only harder. And just more recycled events, kind of like that. Pretty much more of the same, maybe harder or easier based upon whatever may be new or old areas and enemies. Obviously, probably the pessimistic thing is, more of the same, harder, slightly skewed, different. Basically what people don't want. Now, when I hear Trials of Osiris, what I would like them to be is a nifty little 3-team, say, co-op experience down on the world, like you see me right now in the video running around on the overworld, but it's, say, randomly generated, since, everybody loves RNG. It's a randomly generated mission that has you going down and doing something specific on the overworld or free roam world, kind of like you do with the little beacons, but you have a specific task that you have to do, kind of like the bounties, and make it, randomly generated, like I said. Because if you're running around on the overworld, and let's say you get a randomly generated mission, like go to 3 different spots on Cosmodrome and retrieve or say scan, because everybody loves scan missions, and scan these 3 things in 3 different parts without being hit. Okay, let's say, obviously, that doesn't sound too hard, right? Well, say you're in the overworld, and the 3 places are places you have to scan that you know enemies will be, and that they will respawn. And they may, not be hard. They may be level 1s, level 2s, level whatever. But you see, the thing is, after you gather that data, you can't be hit. Or else, the data will corrupt or something. I think something like that that's randomly generated would be cool. You get a random mission that's maybe you could do daily or something with friends, and you could go on, hopefully you get the gist of what I'm saying, is that it's randomly generated, and you go with your friends and try and complete it. Because, other than that, think about, say, going to the moon. Alright. It's like, on the moon, defeat increasingly hard waves of enemies in this area and survive for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes or whatever, and they could be whatever enemies. They could be fallen, whatever. But the catch is, you have to survive. It's a survival. If you die, you're dead. And if everybody dies, game over. And of course, there's obviously more things you can add on to something like that. I think that would be cool. That'd be cool to have the Trials of Osiris to be something like that. It might not be that, unfortunately, but still, I think that would be cool. Personally. Add some randomness and variety with the ability to get cool stuff in there, in the things that you need. Or want, rather, not need. Now, another thing they mentioned in the Bungie stuff was something called the Prison of Elders. Now, if you played the one Strike, I think it's a Strike. Yeah, it's a Strike. Sorry. You heard about the Prison of Elders. Because that's where the Fallen found the Archon priests and stuff. And why they didn't just dump that thing over the side of the cliff and be done with it, who knows? So, you're greeted with this thing and them telling you basically on May the 6th they're going to have live gameplay of Prison of Elders, which is, I quote, and is very descriptive, a brand new 3-player cooperative multiplayer arena. Now, going back to the Trials of Osiris, all it says about Trials of Osiris on the Bungie.net thing, they're just going to reveal and have live gameplay of Trials of Osiris and its collection of in-game gear. That's it. It doesn't say anything else about it. It doesn't say if it's co-op or a multiplayer or anything like that. That's all it says. But down here next, for Wednesday, May 6th, got a message, they're going to reveal and have live gameplay of Prison of Elders, a brand new 3-player cooperative multiplayer arena. Now, let's break down for one, this picture and that sentence and what it says. Now, obviously the 3-player cooperative, duh. Now, obviously you'll be able to play this with 2 of your friends like you will be most things from like the story missions and whatnot, which is fine. That's fine. Now, the multiplayer arena thing. Looking at this pessimistically, it's sounding from that the way it possibly looks and stuff like it's going to be something PvP in some sense from the way they make it sound in this little thing. But I mean, analyzing the picture, you got, you know, what looks to be that one gunky stuff from like the Hive and Beyond the Door. You got some burning round eye looking thing, kind of looks like a servitor, which, you know, is fine. But it's like, what if the thing, what if this is some sort of PvP thing in the Prison of Elders, where you have to go in the Prison of Elders and fight other people to get to something, and whoever wins gets that something and goes on, or some such, which will suck, because if you're not good at PvP with your 3-player, other 2 players, and your total 3-player, you're not gonna fucking get anywhere. Because I mean, it'll obviously this will be good for like people that only play PvP and that maybe have gotten tired of the story stuff for PvE. I mean, it'll be good to tie those things together to maybe get the PvP only people back into the PvE stuff, or maybe get the PvE only people like me who doesn't really like the PvP. Sorry, I don't. Maybe play more PvP for whatever reason, which is fine. Now, my optimistic view of this, going by the picture, is the Prison of Elders, obviously, after that initial break-in, is having problems with its inmates, and kind of like with the daily and weekly stuff, the Prison of Elders, you have to go in, and somebody's trying to break out, or somebody is trying to break somebody out, and you have to go through the Prison of Elders, and maybe on a time limit or something. Like, say, the Fallen are trying to get whatever that thing is back there in the picture, like some sort of grand servitor or whatever. And let's say you're on a time limit before they break them out, say 20 minutes. If you can burst and just run through all those people and make it there before 20 minutes, let's say you get something cool. But let's say you don't, and you actually have to fight this thing, defeat it, and to keep it in the Prison of Elders. You'll still get something cool, but maybe not as cool if you would have made it in time, you know? Maybe give people something different, something cool like that, and have a bunch of different prisoners and things trying to break them out. Like, obviously here you see the Hive stuff. It's like maybe the Hive are trying to break out something. I don't know. Hopefully whatever it is that is in the Prison of Elders also isn't just reskinned or resized regular things. That's one thing I could also be optimistic for. And I think that's pretty much it, what they revealed there, which is cool and all. I mean, they said they're going to have something else on May 8th, but they didn't actually reveal anything. But also, another reason why I waited, other than to calm down, is I figured Also, if you looked around, generally you can find it on YouTube or Reddit or wherever you might look for news, which happened, is people like to data mine, see what's in this patch that recently released, and also what could also be coming up in the expansion. And of course, people did data mine, obviously. And of course, they found out, other than the fact that, yeah, the raid is there, but there's nothing there about it anymore. Basically, what they found is there are actually apparently 2 new social spaces other than the reef. There's also the Queen's Bay and another place called the Halls of Amendment. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. But what's really got me sad is the other stuff that they found is they found 3 new Crucible maps, which, you know what, good for PvP people, that's fine. But the thing is, what they found is there's only 1 new strike, and it's against the Fallen, duh. But here's the thing, though, there's only 3 story missions, just 3. Now, the Dark Below had more than 3, but still, just 3? I mean, come on. I mean, maybe they're just hoping everything on this whole Trials of whatever and Prison of Elders, but, I mean, come on, please give us more, because, I mean, if this is about to be like the Queen and stuff, I mean, people really want to know about that. They really do, and they don't want to have to look at the Grimoire about it. And I mean, hopefully, also with this, hopefully, the Queen's Wrath stuff comes back. That's another thing, hopefully, that they haven't announced. Hopefully, they will announce. I mean, obviously, Bungie has said, it's like, if you data mine, all that stuff is subject to change, and it may not be how it looks when it actually comes out. I mean, hopefully there's more, obviously. But still, everything that's been revealed so far is going to definitely keep me tuned in. It's got me wanting to play again, to get my guy up to level 32, upgrade my weapons, maybe actually try the stuff on hard and stuff. But yeah, I guess that's about it. So I guess this is me signing off. Tell me what you think in the comments, should you so choose. Maybe hit the like button if you want. Subscribe if that's your thing. I guess I'll keep glued to Twitch and everything else like a majority of you to find out more. So until then, I guess I'll catch you later.